The strongest people in the world are not always the loudest, richest, or most feared. Sometimes, the most dangerous person in the room is the one who no longer needs anything from anyone. They don't need approval. They don't need validation. They don't need constant attention, reassurance, or permission to be themselves. And that kind of person terrifies people more than anger ever could. Because once someone becomes emotionally independent, they become almost impossible to control. Modern society quietly trains people to become dependent on external things. Likes, praise, relationships, status, attention, money, opinions. People are taught to build their identity around what others think of them. But Stoic philosophy warned about this over 2,000 years ago. Epictetus once said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." Think about that carefully. The moment someone can control your emotions, your peace, or your self-worth, they gain power over you. And most people never realize how much of their life is spent chasing emotional permission from others. Look at how people behave when they desperately need something. Someone who needs approval becomes easy to manipulate. Someone who needs attention becomes predictable. Someone who needs to be liked will tolerate disrespect. They should have walked away from long ago. This is why emotionally detached people often appear powerful without even trying. They move differently. They speak differently. They don't chase. They don't beg. They don't panic when ignored. And because of that, people become obsessed with them. There's actually psychology behind this. Studies in behavioral science have shown that scarcity increases perceived value. Human beings are naturally drawn toward what feels rare, unavailable, or difficult to control. That principle applies not only to products or money, but to people. The less desperate someone appears, the more valuable they seem socially. Sad truth? Most people lose respect the moment they reveal emotional desperation. You've probably experienced this yourself. The more you chased someone, the colder they became. The more you explained yourself, the weaker you felt. The more validation you needed, the less people respected your presence. But then you meet someone calm, quiet, unreactive, someone who doesn't seem controlled by praise or rejection. Suddenly, the entire energy changes, because calmness under pressure signals strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That sentence alone contains more wisdom than most people learn in a lifetime. The Stoics understood that dependence creates vulnerability. If your happiness depends on another person behaving exactly how you want, you are fragile. If your peace depends on constant approval, you are fragile. But when someone learns to stand alone emotionally, people can feel it immediately. It creates a kind of silent authority. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. The moment you stop needing people emotionally, some people will accuse you of changing. They will call you distant, cold, arrogant, or detached. But often, what they really mean is this: they can no longer control you the same way they used to. A person who cannot be emotionally manipulated becomes extremely difficult to dominate socially. That's why emotionally independent people often make others insecure without saying a single word. Their silence exposes how emotionally reactive everyone else is. And in today's world, emotional reactivity is everywhere. Social media thrives on outrage. Algorithms reward impulsiveness. People are encouraged to instantly react to everything. But the Stoics believe the highest form of strength was restraint. Not weakness, not suppression, restraint. The ability to feel emotion without becoming owned by it. if you've made it this far, leave a comment saying self-control, because very few people truly understand how powerful emotional discipline really is. And if this kind of content helps you think differently about human behavior and Stoic psychology, subscribe to the channel. Most people spend years trying to become more attractive, respected, or powerful, while completely ignoring the one thing that actually changes everything: emotional independence. One of the most dangerous shifts you can make in life is learning to enjoy your own company. Because once solitude stops feeling like punishment, people lose one of their biggest weapons against you. Fear of abandonment controls millions of people. It keeps them in toxic friendships, unhealthy relationships, terrible jobs, and fake social circles. But the Stoics trained themselves to become comfortable with discomfort. Seneca wrote that a wise person is content with himself, not because he hates people, but because he refuses to become psychologically enslaved by them. And that mindset changes everything. When you stop fearing loneliness, you stop tolerating disrespect. When you stop craving validation, you stop performing for approval. When you stop needing everyone to understand you, your confidence becomes unshakable. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless. That's not Stoicism. Stoicism was never about suppressing humanity. It was about mastering yourself so your emotions don't master you. There's a massive difference. The strongest people still feel pain. They still feel rejection, betrayal, loneliness, anxiety. The difference is, they don't collapse under those emotions. They observe them, control them, move through them. And this ability has become increasingly rare. According to recent psychological studies, rates of anxiety, loneliness, and emotional dependency have sharply increased over the last decade, especially through constant digital stimulation and social comparison. People are more connected than ever, yet emotionally weaker than ever. Why? Because most people never learned how to sit alone with themselves without needing distraction. And that's why the person who needs nothing becomes so powerful. They are not easily baited. They are not controlled by trends. They don't panic when ignored. They don't betray themselves for acceptance. They can walk away from disrespect without needing closure. And that level of self-control creates a kind of psychological freedom most people never experience. Think about how rare it is today to meet someone who genuinely does not need to prove themselves. Someone who doesn't constantly seek attention online. Someone who doesn't argue endlessly trying to win validation from strangers. Someone who can remain calm while everyone else loses control. That presence is magnetic because it feels almost unnatural in modern society. But here's the final truth most people miss. The goal is not to become cold. The goal is to become free. Free from needing constant reassurance. Free from emotional dependency. Free from the fear of rejection. Free from living your entire life based on how other people respond to you. Because once a person reaches that state mentally, they stop being controlled by external chaos. And when someone cannot be controlled emotionally, they become incredibly dangerous to manipulative people. Suddenly, guilt stops working on you. Pressure stops working on you. Fear stops working on you. That's real power. Not dominance over others, but mastery over yourself. So the next time someone ignores you, disrespects you, misunderstands you, or walks away from your life, remember this. Your peace should never depend on another person's behavior. That is the Stoic mindset. Strong people are not strong because life became easy. They are strong because they stopped allowing external things to control their internal state. And in a world addicted to attention, reactions, and emotional chaos, the rarest thing you can become is someone who truly needs nothing. If this video resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe, and comment the word freedom below. Because the moment you stop needing the world's approval, you finally begin to reclaim your power.